Hello everybody, I'm Diana from Black Cat Theatre, and that's me and all my puppets. Now you can have lots of different kinds of puppets, but I think one of the most magical of all is the shadow puppet. Why? Because the audience don't see the puppet, they see the shadow of the puppet. Now for Beverley Puppet Festival, I was going to provide shadow puppet workshops in which you could make your own shadow puppet and contribute to the creation of a living shadow picture of nature. But here we are at home. So now I'm going to show you how you can make your very own shadow theatre. Still sticking to the festival theme of Back to Nature and using simple things that you can find at home or you could easily buy. So we need 3 things to make shadow theatre. We need puppets, a light and a screen so that we can see the shadow of the puppets. We're going to make 2 very simple shadow puppets. They're going to be made out of card. This is food packaging card, which is thin enough that you can cut it easily, but thick enough so it stays upright. You'll need a pencil to draw your puppet, scissors to cut your puppet out, a stick to control your puppet. This is a plant support stick. You can find one at the gardening section of the supermarket, or you could use a piece of wire or a straw, and you'll need tape to fix the stick onto your puppet. Let's make the bird puppet. First of all, you're going to draw a small circle. To the side and just below, another larger circle. That's the body. This is the head of your bird, and you're going to join it with a curve at the top and at the bottom to make the neck, a triangle at the front of the head to make a beak, and the eye just a little bit higher than the beak to the side. For the wing, start just below where the neck joins the body, go up, do zigzags for feathers and come round and down. For the tail, just below the wing, go out, a zigzag for the feathers and down. For the legs, don't make them too thin, and a half moon shape for the feet. Now let's cut our puppet out. So I like to cut all the excess card off first, and then start with all the straight lines. They're the easiest. Now when you get zigzags like this, go across and then go in. So you're not trying to turn a corner at the top, but you come back in from the outside on the other side. And the same here. So come from the outside to go into the cut. Across the top and into the zigzag from the outside. Another nice straight bit, so open the scissors wide so you can make long cuts. And where you've got a curve, open the scissors wide and turn your card with the curve. Let's go from the outside into the corner. And there we have our bird. If you've got some sharp scissors, you can make a hole for the eye so that the light can shine through. Now we need to put our puppet on a stick. We're going to use masking tape. And you cut 2 pieces. Half on the stick and half on the puppet. Twizzle the stick over, half on the stick and half on the puppet, and then make sure that the tape is fixed securely to the stick. So you see we have a hinge joint, and then our puppet can go forwards that way, turn to go back the other way, or he can do a somersault. We're going to make a boy puppet, and we're going to work with circles and curves. For the legs, one leg's going to be stepping forwards. This one's coming straight down at an angle. When you draw a figure in shadow theatre, you generally draw it facing to the side, so we're going to have a profile, a side view of the head, and the body is full on, so you see the 2 arms and the 2 legs. So let's join the head to the body with a neck, which is almost as wide as the head. Now let's give our boy some hair. He can have a quiff at the front. And a face, so we're going to give him a nose and some lips and a bit of a chin coming into the neck. His eye will go level with the top of his nose. Now let's put some clothes on our boy. Now we need to cut out our boy. So now let's have a look at our puppet. The other side. Now we need to put a stick on our puppet. And our puppet can walk forwards, turn, walk backwards, and can also do a somersault. These are the things that you need to make your shadow theatre. So you need a straight edge and a marker to mark the border of the screen, a craft knife to cut it out, the material that you're going to use for your screen, and I'm just using brown wrapping paper, scissors to cut it out, and tape, parcel tape or sellotape. Our puppets need a stage, and the stage for a shadow puppet is a screen. There are lots of different kinds of materials you can use to create a shadow screen. Traditionally, white cotton sheeting. So if you've an old pillowcase or sheet at home that isn't being used, that would be fine. But there's lots of other things you can use as well. Greaseproof paper, wrapping paper. And we're going to fix our screen into a cardboard box. We'll cut out the base and fix it in here. So you'll need enough material for whatever size box you're going to use. It can be smaller than this, it can be bigger. But don't have your box too high. This one's quite shallow, which is good. So when you've cut out the base of your box, put it back in, turn it over and place the material that you're going to use for the screen underneath the box so that you can work out the right size, because you want an overlap, and then you're going to cut out the corners. Turn it over, and now we're going to tape the screen on as tight as you can. So you start off on one side and then go to the opposite side, pull it nice and tight and tape it. So this is how they stretch canvases for pictures. And we're doing it in that same way. Pull nice and tight, so you do all four sides first. Go to the opposite side, pull it tight, and then we work on the corners. fix the whole thing down. We need a light for our puppets to make the shadows. You might have something like this at home, a reading light. This is a clip-on one. Or like this. This has a halogen bulb inside it, which is excellent for giving a really clear shadow. Otherwise, you could use a torch, the torch off your phone, or you could simply put your shadow theatre in front of a window and use the natural daylight, which comes from the strongest light of all, the sun. To make your puppet move, hold the bottom of the stick firmly. The bird can jump, can look up, can look down, can peck the ground, and can fly. To make the shadow of the puppet bigger, bring the puppet towards the light, always looking at the shadow on the screen, because that is what the audience will see. To make your puppet walk, make U-shapes. To make it talk, go forwards and backwards, not up and down, but forwards and backwards. And you can change the look of your puppet by punching holes, as I've done, to make the eye of the puppet, or cutting out parts of the puppet with sharp scissors or a craft knife. And you can use material which has a pattern for scenery, or to add to the outside of the puppet shape. And your puppets can have colour, and you will see this in the shadows, because anything that the light can shine through that has a colour will give you a colour on the screen. This is just toffee paper, and you can put this colour over the holes that you've made inside your puppet. So you'll see some of these techniques in the poem, The Blue Tit. Johnny's on his iPad. He's on the screen again. He doesn't see the blue tit tapping the window pane. And now he's on his iPod with a headphone in each ear. The blue tit's busy tapping, but Johnny doesn't hear. He's looking for his Xbox. He finds and plugs it in. Zap, kapow, and shoot 'em up, while the blue tit looks at him. Now, Johnny's watching telly. His favourite programme's on, so he doesn't hear the blue tit singing his chirpy song. Ha! Johnny's on his smartphone. He's texting with his mates and doing stuff on social media. Well, there's a noise. He hesitates. The blue tit taps the window and Johnny jumps. What's that? But he's pulled back to his smartphone by a friend who's on Snapchat. Life goes on outside the house as the bird lands on a tree, then hops about from branch to branch and sings out joyfully. The grassy park behind the tree on this lovely sunny day, with bikes and balls and woods and ditches, calls Johnny out to play. But he turns back to his smartphone. The pull is very strong. Just another minute more. He won't be very long. Then, tap, tap on the window pane. The Blue Tit taps again. But Johnny's lost inside his screen, and the Blue Tit taps in vain. But tap, 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 the Blue Tit goes inside of Johnny's head. He cannot seem to concentrate, so goes to look instead. The Blue Tit turns and flies away, up into the sky to soar, making Johnny drop his smartphone and run out of the bedroom door. Under the big tall trees he goes, and into the bright warm sun, with the Blue Tit happily chirping as he watches Johnny having fun.